You are abusing Section 50 right now.
I'm not abusing Section 50. Yes, you are. I require you under Section 50
are going to court
to provide your name and your...
Right out of the gate, we're watching a familiar pattern unfold. An auditor legally filming outside a police station, officers arriving already convinced something is wrong, and Section 50 being pulled out before anyone even explains the facts. This is where encounters like this are won or lost, not with shouting, not with attitude, but with knowledge. Watch closely how fast a routine interaction turns into threats of arrest, and ask yourself, is this about public safety or about control? Because what happens next exposes exactly how fragile that distinction can be when officers don't fully understand the powers they're using.
Out front counter. Just let me explain.
No, let me explain. We have been
We've got vulnerable victims in and out of the police station that are feeling a little bit harassed by you filming around the station. Right, can I just take your name and your address,
I'll
please?
give you my name on one condition.
No, I'm asking you.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, and I'm replying, I'm saying, you get my name and address on one condition. You take that gang sign off.
What gang sign?
That gang sign there.
That's not relevant to why I'm here, is it? Just get your name and address, please, on Section 50 of the Police Reform Act.
Do you believe that I'm committing antisocial behaviour
at this moment, yes, so that's why I require you to provide your name and your address.
What grounds? What makes you think that I'm committing antisocial behaviour?
Especially recording at a police station.
Recording at a police station is not antisocial.
Right, guys, we've been told, and we've had information from the front counter, that people in there waiting to be seen by officers, victims of crime, are feeling harassed by your behaviour at the front counter. Just listen to what I'm saying. I'm telling you what the information is. You've asked me, let me answer.
This is a complete misfire of Section 50, and the officer gives it away in his own explanation. Michael and his friend aren't filming victims, they're filming police. Filming a police station from public space doesn't become harassment just because someone inside the building might feel uncomfortable. Harassment requires conduct directed at a...
This moment is critical because Section 50 has a very specific legal trigger, and the officer's own explanation quietly undermines his authority. Antisocial behavior isn't about someone feeling uncomfortable. It's about conduct directed at a person that causes harassment, alarm, or distress. Michael isn't interacting with victims, isn't targeting anyone, and isn't obstructing police business. He's filming a building from public space. Yet instead of reassessing, the officer escalates to arrest threats. That's a classic mistake. Once coercion enters the conversation, legitimacy collapses. So here's the question for you watching. If officers could demand your identity based on how someone else might feel, where does that power actually end?
To constable in uniform, if we believe you're acting in an antisocial manner.
And what's the belief that we're committing an antisocial behaviour?
The information that has been passed. You're asking me a question, let me respond.
Okay, so let's have a conversation.
So that is any person that is not in the same household. Okay, I'm quite happy the people that are feeling alarmed are not from your household.
Correct.
So, under that act, as you well pointed out when I turned up, I require you to provide your name and your address.
Also under that same act, you have to have reasonable suspicion that I am committing antisocial behaviour.
So I require, if you fail to provide those details, you can be arrested.
Where's the reasonable suspicion?
Why I'm asking you one more time. Excuse me, I'm not talking to you, sir. I'm asking you one more time to provide your name and your address.
If I'm required to do so,
failure to do so, you can be arrested.
If I'm required to do so by law, then I will. But just before I do, I would like to know what the grounds are that you suspect that I'm committing antisocial behaviour.
I've explained that to you already.
Michael tells him outright the power is being abused, and instead of reassessing, the officer doubles down. He starts throwing out vague phrases like any person not from the same household being alarmed, as if that magically satisfies the law. It doesn't. Section 50 doesn't activate because someone might feel something. It requires an actual public order offence or a real evidenced risk of one. The arrest threat is the clearest admission that this isn't about safeguarding anyone inside the station. It's about forcing compliance. Give me your details or you'll be arrested isn't law enforcement here, it's coercion. Section 50 becomes a blunt instrument, not to address disorder, but to punish refusal.
What is your name, please, sir?
No, there's no grounds. You don't have grounds. You don't have grounds.
What is your name?
But out of fear of arrest and threat of violence...
I have reasonable grounds to suspect, and I've explained that.
No, you don't.
So I am asking you now to provide your name.
Out of fear of arrest and threat of violence, I will provide you my details.
Right, is there anything I can reasonably do for you to provide, under the Police Reform Act, your name and your address?
You could provide me with reasonable grounds, but like I've just said, under threat of violence, fear... Definitely,
I've explained that. I'm going to ask you one more time and
let me just
your
finish,
name
and then I
and
will.
your address.
Out of threat of violence, fear, and duress, I will give my details under that section unlawfully.
What's your name, please, sir?
I'm
Michael.
going to film every single member of public going in that building now.
Michael.
Michael.
And your last name?
Listen, Michael.
Right, I do apologise because the radio's talking to me here. We've got
You're
cars
quite
pulling
rude
in
to us
now.
though, guys. You've
So,
completely
Michael,
refused
what's your
powers.
last name?
I've just given you it.
I'm asking you again.
Hey, listen, you're really rude.
No, you're rude.
No, you're
No,
rude.
no,
You're
no,
rude
no.
because you're abusing
You're
section
abusing
50.
powers, mate. You're rude.
We're not the ones that's shouting
Michael.
here.
No, you're
What is
abusing
your
powers,
surname?
mate. You're very rude. You don't
I've just
abuse
told you.
police powers.
I'm asking you again because I didn't hear you.
Well, that's your problem, not mine, isn't it?
Michael gives his details for one reason only. The officer has backed him into a corner with an arrest threat. That's not cooperation, it's submission. When liberty is put on the line, people comply to avoid being dragged away, not because the demand is lawful. Then the second officer calling Michael rude is pure audacity. Michael gives the surname, the officer fails to hear it, and instead of correcting himself, he reframes Michael as difficult. That's not accidental, it's narrative control. When officers realize a power's been stretched too far, they often switch to tone and attitude to justify what just happened. Label the person rude, awkward, or obstructive, and suddenly the abuse of Section 50 gets buried under character judgment.
Michael, I'm not playing games. I'm asking you for your surname, please.
I've given you it under the section of law that you've stated. I've already given you my surname.
Right, and I couldn't hear you because of the vehicles coming in the gate.
Are you recording?
Right, what is your address, Michael?
Do I have to give my address under
You
that
do,
section?
yes.
I don't know your date of birth.
You never asked me for my date of birth, and I'm not
Don't need
required
his
to give my date of birth under that
No,
section
let
of
me-
law.
let me-
And this man knows that. That's why I didn't ask.
Guys, you're dismissed. Have a nice day. You are dismissed. We no longer require your services. You're very rude. You came over and abused your powers, talking about antisocial. We're not antisocial. We've been perfectly fine. We've not spoken to one single person. And you know, when I speak to professional standards later, they're going to confirm everything like they always do. All right, I get complaints upheld. I've got 3 civil claims against police forces across the United Kingdom because you're corrupt. Why is there so much police corruption, police abuse? There is, mate.
Why do you always
No,
abuse
right,
section
listen,
50?
do you know what, right? Do you know what? You're quite reasonable, you are quite reasonable, mate. The way that you hold yourself and the way that you've been speaking to us, but do you know him? He's a bully boy, him.
How would you feel if people start recording at the station here? It's not right. It's not the right thing. So we, like you said, like this like
Is that in
private
your
people
opinion
come
or in
here.
law? Because in law it says that we can do this, but in your opinion it says we can't. So you
Exactly,
abuse
yeah.
section 50 because of your opinion, because of your ego, and because of your
Yes.
feelings.
Thank you, there you go, Michael. We act within the boundaries of the law and we know what we're doing.
He drops law entirely and switches to opinion. How would you feel it's not the right thing? That isn't a legal test, it's a moral lecture, and Michael nails it instantly. The law doesn't ask officers how they'd feel if they were on the other side. It asks whether the conduct is lawful. Officers are trained to apply objective standards, reasonable suspicion, specific offences, identifiable victims. None of those rely on empathy hypotheticals. When officers lean on how would you feel, it's usually because they can't point to a power that actually applies. Michael calling that out matters because it shows the difference between what the law allows and what an officer wishes people wouldn't do.
What we said on the beginning of this video, which is going to show, we're at Hull Police Station today, right? And we're going to show you guys today if Hull Police Station want to abuse the powers of the Section 50. And I said that before I even spoke to you guys.
Right, guys, I've got your details. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll run
have a
you
nice
through.
day. You're dismissed,
Okay,
guys.
so
We don't need your
You're
advice.
dismissed,
Thank you
guys.
very
Thank
much.
no,
you.
your advice is
You
Don't
James.
abuse
I'm asking
anybody.
you.
dismissed.
Your advice is don't abuse anybody. Don't be brutalising members of public.
Stop
Oh,
abusing
right.
section
Yeah,
50.
don't do
yeah.
that, mate, because it happens
no.
frequently, all right? And people are scared of that
Certainly
uniform.
don't within this force.
Yes, it
Okay.
does, mate. I would only
So
up
what
here
I'm
the other
advising
week
you both,
reporting
gents.
on
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
swear
stand
to
up.
advice.
Homicide police officers. I was
Is
only
to
up here
stay
last
away
week
from the
reporting
gate,
on
stay
corruption,
away
not
from the
homicide
front
police.
I'm off in front office right now,
Okay.
mate. What are you
I'm
going to do
going in
about
front
it?
office,
Nothing.
yeah.
You're
Do you
going to do
wanna
nothing.
give me
So, but word to advice, stay away because
Where's
members of the public
yeah,
are
we
feeling
don't care.
harassed.
We don't care,
All
mate.
right.
We're not harassing nobody.
So-
we're not harassing nobody, mate.
I'm
so we
asking
don't
you to
care.
stay away.
I
I'm
feel
giving you
harassed by
those
you
words
now.
of
You're
advice.
harassing me now.
I don't need your advice, mate.
Okay,
Go
if we
away.
need to speak to you again, we will do,
You're
gents.
dismissed, guys.
Appreciate
Yeah,
your
yeah,
time.
nice
Thank
to
you.
dismiss.
Have
Bye-bye.
a lovely day.
Bye-bye.
Have a lovely day.
We're going to go in
guys.
front counter now, yeah? After the situation, we did our usual thing and we spoke to H&K solicitors. And H&K solicitors, like in Barton, they dealt with everything. And I got a nice £1,000 payout from Homicide Police. Big up to Lee Freeman. What a legend.
They leave thinking they've won because they got what they wanted in the moment. Names, compliance, silence. That's always the mistake. Michael doesn't need the last word on the pavement. He lets time and process do the work. The £1,000 award isn't dramatic, but it's precise. a clean acknowledgement that the officer's interpretation of the law didn't survive scrutiny. And once again, the cost lands nowhere near the people who caused it. The officers go back on shift, unchanged, while the public bankrolls the lesson they refuse to learn on the street. That's why this keeps happening. When the consequence of abusing powers is absorbed by the force as a faceless payout, there's no incentive to improve decision-making. If even a fraction of these awards followed the officer, financially or professionally, Section 50 wouldn't be thrown around so casually. What makes this episode stand out isn't just the misuse of power, but how casually it was done. There's no urgency, no chaos, no genuine threat, just officers comfortable escalating because they assume there will be no consequence. They rely on the idea that most people will back down, hand over details, and walk away quietly. Michael didn't. He let the process run its full course, and when it did, the officer's version of events couldn't survive outside the street where it was created, and a lot of you have said the same thing in the comments. This only keeps happening because
by the end of this encounter, the outcome says more than the argument ever could. Michael complied under threat, documented everything, and let the legal process do its job. And the result was a payout acknowledging the misuse of power. The officers walked away unchanged, while the public paid the price. That's the bigger issue here. When unlawful actions carry no personal consequence, behavior doesn't change. This wasn't chaos policing or split-second danger. It was casual escalation built on misunderstanding the law. If you found this breakdown as intense as we did, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more real-life body cam and police audit breakdowns.